Hey everybody. So this is Lynn Ferguson. I'm Lynn Ferguson. Here on Lynn's Bins, I want to bring you all an episode, as you can see from the title, about the Black Student Alliance at St. Louis University, my school. So this is just going to it's just meant to be like kind of coupled with my downloads coming in, with the article that I wrote about the matter. And actually, I'll go ahead and pull that up. And I'm going to include a link from the article to this particular video that I'm in the process of completing so that for an upload to YouTube. But this is just going to get into the discrimination that I faced as a Black transgender woman who did not vote for Kamala or Trump, but still voted at the town hall meeting for the B.S.A at St. Louis University. Unfortunately, I was shunned and shamed for my support of, or excuse me, my lack of support for Kamala and perceived support even for Donald Trump, just because I did not, I pointed out some of my, you know, qualms with the Democratic candidate and the whole process. I mean, honestly, is really what I wanted to get into, but I was cut off, I was shut down, and half the room left. So, this audio is to support that since I'm being called a liar and it's being alleged that I talked over people throughout the meeting and that I was just making it about myself and all this other stuff. So, this audio serves as proof of what actually went down and in this public meeting. And uh, it refutes the accusations that are being made in the comment section of my article and elsewhere, and by even members of the B.S.A. And mind you, there are 2 points within the video, you could call it, within the MP4 upload, that even though the video is black the whole, all throughout, because it wasn't an actual video, I just made it into one so that I could edit it through Canva. But mind you, there are 2 instances where at which the volume, the audio was tweaked. It was literally only just cut out. So like the exact amount of time that you hear nothing when you should hear audio in these 2 instances that are fairly close to each other toward the end of the audio, around the 1:15 to 1:30 mark. That is uh, identifying information for a student who shared a very personal story of a sundown town-esque situation here on campus within one of the dorms, similar to my sundown town-esque situation that happened outside of my campus living arrangements as well, or residence as well. Um, so just so you know, I don't want that student's name out there, and I don't want their hall within which they live to be put out there either, because, and since those were given in those instances that I cut out within the video, I did so. Cut them out. So please enjoy. And if you have any questions, then let me know. I might do a follow up episode about this, but just so you know, I am in talks with the dean and the B.S.A right now, trying to figure out what exactly happened and how this can be prevented in the future. So, thank you. So I wonder what inclusion looks like for people in the LGBTQI community who are Black as well at the university. and obviously in the group.
With the B.S.A, I can honestly say that we've never had any type of collaboration, and and I can honestly say as well that I'm not sure if there is like a black centered organization
I was wondering
on
that too.
campus that are for people who are part of that LGBTQ plus community. Um, but that's something that's a note for us to be made and be here.
Definitely, thank you. I just wanted to extend on that or expound on it upon it. I have been going here. It'll be 2 years at the end of the semester. I started in the beginning of January and of last year, and what do you call it? I've gone through quite a bit. Something that was mentioned a second ago, a predominantly white institution. Um, a lot of that has had to do with race, and I don't know. Maybe I haven't reached out to the right people or whatever the case is, but as a black transgender woman going to this school, I feel like kind of backed into a corner because I don't know where to reach out to for, assistance. And then I feel like a lot of things that happen because of intersectionality could possibly be I could be the scapegoat for a lot of things because it's like, oh, we know that so and so is not going to stick up for her because she's trans or something, so I don't know.
I do know I know someone who works in the Center for Social Action, and I know that they work a lot with people who are part of that community. And that's probably something we can definitely bridge a gap with having more events or having just conversations, like table talks about that,
Hmm.
creating that space for the people who want it.
Definitely. I'll talk with you a little bit more after so I can connect with you
And
on
I
that.
work for the Center for Social Action, so
Awesome.
if you need like,
I know some person who is black, they're part of LGBTQ plus community who is on the SGA's board,
Hmm.
and you might find more answers there because they do have the direct source of pretty much every activity or club that happens at the school. So I would definitely check with them guys as well for those type of questions.
And I just want one last thing, and it's not going to be the last thing, probably the whole night, but it'll be the last thing in this moment because I want to let everybody else get a chance to say something, but this is very important. I had a sundown town-esque situation happen to me on campus just a couple weeks ago. I live in Marquette West, and I was walking. I was followed by, seemed that they were going to the same location, so I don't think they were intentionally just like only following me, but they were walking behind me. It was a group of if not completely white, predominantly white students. And one of them lived in the building, a woman. And while I was walking in the parking lot, there were things said like, "You don't belong here. You're not in the right neighborhood, or you're in the wrong neighborhood." And so I reported that situation, long story short, and the university, as expected, at least for me, let me know that apparently the footage is not available from that night. There's something going on with the footage from that night of Marquette. So things like this have just kind of been a recurring thing or whatever. So I just wanted to throw that out there as well, that things like this do happen on the campus, unfortunately. So I'm working with the proper offices about that right now.
I would probably also say that in relation to S.B.A, you can reach out to the Center for Social Action because they really do have good resources and they have really good ties to the community as well. And then also the counseling center, if that is something that you really want to talk about, there are black therapists in there that you can have those conversations with. Um, and I believe that they still do the drop-in sessions. It's probably on like a tentative basis, but if you can get an appointment, you can most likely do the drop-in session. And then also reaching out to CDPS and having open-ended conversations with them about how you're feeling unsafe. And then the only person that I know, well, there's two people that I know who are DPS officers that are black. It's Joshua Johnson. Is that they there? Yeah. JJ and there's another girl who I can give you her personal information.
Okay.
She's a DPS officer, I know. She's having a conversation with her might help you to get an ear of someone who is in a better position than that.
If I can add to that too, I know that DPS, they'll escort you if you feel like you need escort. If you give them a time frame and you tell them your situation, they'll do that. So I definitely reach out to someone in that department about that. That is a resource.
Okay, moving on to the next question. How can we ensure our events and programming are more representative of diversity within the Black community? If you want to say something, just speak. It is a safe space. You will not be judged.
Something that I've heard recently, anecdotally speaking, is that there have been a number of Black students that have shared in mental spaces that they're just a concern about what Blackness is and how there's been this hierarchy of Blackness within the B.S.A. That this person is not Black enough, this person doesn't listen to this kind of music, this person is involved in these kind of interests, and and I'm not saying I don't have any evidence of this. This is just what's been expressed. So I just wanted to kind of just share that is a concern that comes out, is that how Black is someone and what that means. We know that this is not a monolithic culture, but there are a lot of students who are feeling a sense of insecurity and lacking a sense of belonging because they feel like their Blackness is being judged against their preferences or their interests or who else they hang out with outside of, maybe Black spaces. So that's just anecdotally, I just wanted to share that. I don't know what that looks like, but that's just a concern that I've heard.
Do you think it's from like the conversations that you've heard, more from like the I don't want to say higher, the e-boys like is making you feel this way, or is it like your peers? Like,
I think it's more around in like the Black community, and I think in maybe in media.
Oh, okay. Does anybody have anything else to feedback on or say for that question? And if you feel that way, you would like to give your perspective on that, please feel free to share.
adding on to what she just said, if it ever is, not just a peer, maybe like somebody representing what BSA is as a whole, you're more than welcome to come to an individual that's on the e-board and let them know like, hey, this e-board member, blah, 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 or even if it's the vice president, or the vice president, the president, like, if it's one of us, you're still more than welcome to address the advisor, to address somebody on the e-board, and if, I'm not gonna say, they will be governed, but it'll be handled, like, we'll talk to them, we'll make sure, they're not making people feel uncomfortable, or not want to send them to the BSA room, or stuff like that.
Before you go on to the next one, since nobody else has said anything yet, I will have a suggestion. I think this goes outside of the BSA though. I don't know, this might be silly. But like, I really feel like for representation at the school, especially since it's a predominantly white institution, and we also have the international aspect of it, which does bring into frame, I think, as well, that same question of what is Blackness on a different level. I think that there should be a board at the school that has representation of every group, basically. So like a multicultural board. I don't know if we already have that, but like of students, like you guys who are, you guys and gals who are, basically a recognized body that is able to speak on behalf of each of these communities. So, several for the Indian Asian community, several for the American descendant of enslaved people community, or a Black foundational Black American community, or African American, whatever you go by, or Black, all that good stuff. So, like,
I would say that there already is.
Is
It's
it?
just that the person who's in charge of it is not, and I will say this honestly, they're not doing their job. So, because of that, me and the president of Oasis, you guys know what Oasis is?
Mm-mm.
It's basically the group that represent people who are from Latin countries
Mm.
and or the Caribbean. Um, so I was having a conversation with her and Dr. Marks about the DLC meetings because those are supposed to be run by SGA or someone who is on the SGA board. She's supposed to be having those meetings with us and having those conversations with us about the spaces that we occupy and how we can, what we can do to maintain a healthy and good environment. But she's not been doing that. So now I have to reach out to her to ask her to do her job. It's not me trying to be shady. That is exactly what it is. I was just having a conversation with Dr. Marks about it.
Oh, I appreciate the honesty.
Yes, it does exist. It's just
And what is it called?
the DLC.
DLC. I'm sorry, you said that.
Yeah. Anybody have anything else to add on what's her name?
Lynn.
Lynn? Or Dr. Johnson said?
To repeat the question, basically, like, what can B.S.A as a whole do to represent diversity within Black community?
And make sure we're being inclusive to those who feel like they're not being represented or feel like they're being shunned for their type of blackness, which is not okay, but
I'm not sure in terms of how to make certain things, but I think maybe start with another time how they talked about the topic of blackness and whenever that issue been on. I don't know how necessarily make a space for everybody to talk to be vulnerable about those things, but I think that would be a start.
yeah, just to add on to that, like maybe in y'all like church meetings, maybe like making that a topic, like what is blackness, what is their life, and just describing how y'all are inclusive. And I feel like the PPM, that's only like the first thing to come to, and everybody's gonna be open to going to, because it's like classes to us. So just making it a topic that we want to be more inclusive.
I think also thinking about language and how we communicate. I remember, and I don't remember what it was specifically, but something struck me at the first GDM that was said that made it seem like and I wish I had an example, so I probably shouldn't even said it, but there was, I mean, I just think it was even how we communicate about our community, right? Like even about like, oh, the LGBTQ community, not that like, as if that's something separate, and not to say that there isn't a uniqueness and there's not identity there, but that's also our community. Like we need to embrace the LGBT community as us, not as a separate group like them over there.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're not, it's not like we're gonna say, oh, the black, whatever. Like I think that language is super important to think about ways in which we are communicating in our meetings. I think that there's sometimes, and obviously like, we want to be able to be casual and be able to be comfortable, but I think sometimes there is certain language that is used that may be taken offensively by people.
Delivery is everything. So
I'm sorry.
delivery is everything. That's what I'm saying. Like the way you deliver your speech.
I see it for like try to express more diversity, maybe more collaboration with ASM. I like all aspects of blackness.
So probably just all around with more collaborations with culture groups, and not even just culture, but like we, there's a Rainbow Alliance like right next door to us. We probably work with them just to show that we are inclusive. Because I think since a lot of us on the board don't have that many identities to really um, identify with, that we don't necessarily think about those other identities. So we just have to consider that, like even if that's not the group that we're in necessarily.
I think that's something that y'all can do as well in your e-board, making sure that you do have that intersexuality, my bad. Make sure you have those different types of groups as part of your board if you want to express what blackness is, because blackness is
There'll be one more.
But I think that some of the things that B.S.A does when it comes to people on the board is not necessarily their fault. I think that for men, and we got one, thank God, but like some of those things we really can't fight for if people don't want to get involved. So we mentioned more people who have had that intersectionality. Sorry, I got messed up. We can then go forward and have more diverse voices. But we don't really have a chance to have that more diverse voices don't come in forward. So if you want to see that change, put yourself in a position of action to make it. We can't force you to.
What's the pay for the position?
There's none.
I'm playing. I'm playing.
I
was like, what?
It's kind of like a circle though, like until we show them that they can be comfortable in the space, then it's hard.
Yeah, for sure. And I feel like, I mean, I don't talk about it that much, maybe, or when I talk, you can probably hear sometimes that I'm not American, but
I didn't even know.
Huh?
I didn't even know.
Oh,
And I do accents.
but like my blackness is definitely not the same, or it doesn't conform the same way that it does with a lot of my board members, and I learn from them every day with either if it's they're telling me something new, or a word, or if it's anything like that. I still learn as I go, and I'm trying to be a little bit more with that, knowing that my blackness is different from the other members on my board. I try my best to put that in a little bit, but I will be more attentive and actually put some, petals in that. What suggestions do y'all have for fostering a more inclusive, fostering more inclusion and solidarity with the B.S.A? So if you have any suggestions on that, just start talking.
I feel like maybe there's a way for like Black students from every culture or from throughout the diaspora to be automatically like kind of bombarded with like literature about the B.S.A or something like that so that they can, know here's the place for you or a place for you or, something like that, Um, I don't know. Maybe I started at a weird time. I know I did start at a weird time, because I started in January, but of last year. But I personally didn't know about the B.S.A or whatever, and that's partially because like who doesn't know about a B.S.A? Like, it's because I didn't even know what that was or whatever. When a lot of people coming into college, they're probably going to know what a B.S.A is, so they'll probably look for it. But maybe for people like me who didn't know, to look for it.
I have a question. Do the black student, I mean, because, and maybe this is somewhat rhetorical, because like, I'm, out in the campus pretty frequently. Is there a space where black students hang out? So when I was an undergrad, we were together all the time. I went to a PWI Jesuit school, LMU on the West Coast, and we were like together all the time. I mean, obviously we're in classes, but there were times where there were large groups of black folks that were hanging out. I don't see that here, and I'm just curious, is that I don't know if it's a COVID thing, if it's I don't want to, that's not our thing. Other than like there being a meeting, where do people connect and hang out and be in community with each other outside of a meeting? Where does that happen?
I'd say it used to be the B.S.A space, but we've been dealing with just the constant issue of people not feeling comfortable coming in there. And we've been working as an equal to get them to feel more comfortable coming in there. We ain't come up with a whole lot of ideas yet. So if anybody here has any suggestions that they want to bring up, if you come to the B.S.A space or if you don't, that you want to say make you feel more comfortable coming in there.
What's the discomfort?
I think it has a lot to do with I think some people just have some anxieties about what goes on in the B.S.A space, like if I'm gonna fit in or not. But it's really low key. Like it's nothing going on in there. You can really just sit down and not really be bothered at all. Like we try to say hey to everybody that comes in, definitely.
Is it always open? Like, is there certain hours that you can?
No, it's always open as long as you have your ID. You
can scan in to come in there, and I use, well, mostly everybody tries to open the door, so like if you don't have your ID, your door is still open. I know most students like the lights off, but the TV might be on. You can still go in there. Like it's just all about if they really want to or not. But that's usually the space that we try to encourage students to go to.
Do y'all want to hang out together? Like, that's a serious question. I'm just curious. I'm sorry.
And I feel like something that we can do, what B.S.A can do to like have more people in there is like post game nights. Like on Friday night, like people finish with their homework, you're for the weekend, it's Friday and PWI campus, it's kind of dead, to be honest, for me.
Mm-hmm. So if we were to text in the current active group chat, and be like,
Look, if you doing a Miss Pac-Man night, any day.
I feel like you gotta touch on like those casual like little things like that. Like even we talk about that like y'all would say watch party in the B.S.A. Like you don't know how many people gonna get in there, but some people might come in there like get some food from Bill Grill. They might be like, yeah, let me sit in here, see what we're talking about. So I feel like everything doesn't have to be a planned event, but just those casual like, hey, we in the B.S.A. like come in here like we going back and forth with this in the B.S.A. like come in here and talk about it. Like I don't know, just look casual stuff, just to bring back together.
I would say like some people who don't come from the B.S.A. I would say if you don't come from New York, if you B.S.A. when someone comes in here, especially like yourself, like make an effort to have like conversations with them and stuff like that. Because I know I came to the B.S.A. once with them, and like it be people in there, but like they'll be like if they will click and talk and like just more knowledge and stuff like that. So I would say that. Please go back. So I would say like yeah, just like if you don't work and do that, make an effort to come like non-legal conversation. And I think there's a point really come to BSA, keep coming back to BSA. And like also what they're saying, like just like, have like spontaneous like in there, like, oh whatever. Like okay.
Definitely. Yeah, I was more touch on that. I think I know the first night it might not be fun. It might not be possible, but I think the idea is that like the frequency that it has. Or it's gonna be that one night and everybody in there and then the next day like you should be like all your
It ain't nothing to do with weekend.
people are not gonna come because like it's gonna give them. Another thing that I have to say was I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember the name of the week, but it's the week in the spring when they have like a lot of the athletes. Yeah, that right there. At this week, I know like last year, like I went. A lot of my friends are part of like ASA and ESA and stuff like that, and I went to their event, but it was kind of sad, like seeing the BSA not having an event because we're the culture group. So I think like doing that, I think that's also a way to like collaborate with other groups because I know during Atlas a lot of different cultural groups host events together. I think we're hosting some.
Is there a way that you all could like get in with the academic or the advising office and like find a way? I don't know if they would allow you to do this, but maybe if you all could like get together and approach them and see if they would allow you to get the phone number of everyone who is Black throughout the diaspora whenever they apply to the school and whenever they get accepted, and then automatically text them B.S.A. information, and then allow them like to opt out if they want to.
There's an email. Yeah.
That automatically goes out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it's like an email, like when you send like stuff with our flyers or like last information. There's an email that we use that has almost all of the Black faculty, staff, and students.
Okay.
Everybody who's Black on campus gets that.
Okay.
By the way, I should say something. You all don't know who the strange person is who just showed up in the room here. My name is Reggie Williams. I'm a new professor in the theology, the Department of Theology, Black theology professor. Yes.
Okay. Oh, we didn't have one.
And I'm here because of that listserv, the email that you sent. I ensure events and programming and what suggestions we have, they're connected to this conversation that you've been having about what is Black. I think that in your understanding of yourself as a group of students in B.S.A, that's an essential thing to figure out. What do you mean by Black? Identifying as Black as opposed to African American says something, especially in a community where there is a diaspora. I wouldn't say that you're trying to figure it out right now. I said that you should spend some time on it. I'd certainly be willing to help.
Yeah, so, think like, to that point, I think like, maybe a panel, maybe, and then, like, from different, like, people identify as Black or whatever, people, that discuss art, but,
I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me mention that I'm also, please don't hesitate to stop by and see me. I am your professor in that theology department on the second floor of the original hall. I'm on sabbatical right now, but I do stop through there occasionally. If you got my email, reach out.
And your professor.
Was that?
And your professor.
Your name.
Oh, Reggie Williams.
Reggie Williams,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
To like what he was saying, I do think that it is one of the like biggest things of B.S.A, like the identity of. I feel like some people, I don't know, want to say being like they equate being Black or being African American like just being like in the sense of the race, even though yeah the race of being Black. And I think that is something as well to I think it's also a cultural disconnect in some aspects of people. I love learning, but everybody can't learn. You know, everyone at here is Black can't learn. So it's I think finding the niche where every culture feels like it's represented. I think that's
I think, just to piggyback on Professor Bruce's heading as well, it's like, although obviously you all have a very clearly written mission and who you are and what you're about, it still feels like the identity piece feels a little bit fragmented to me, and then sometimes I have a hard time just getting a sense of cohesion in the midst of obviously there's going to be all a range of Blackness, but it still feels like I think the identity piece of the organization still feels fragmented. But I think that I'm more than beyond excited to see people here. I think that with that first GBM, I was like, I didn't even know this new series here, which is super exciting. And I think the fact that people are here means that they're interested in investing. It's like, how can we now gain some momentum around really creating some cohesion?
And this is an extremely important space that you all hold.
Yes.
At a time like this in our national history, the rhetoric that's going on around us is filtered by the community that you have with each other. And understanding what that means is really important to say Black.
So feedback on the executive board role. So in this part of this discussion, we'll be talking about you all giving us feedback. Better support you, better make sure that our voices are in some way, shape, or form in unison, and making sure that we're doing our best job for the community that we serve. So these questions are more focused on us, but this is your time to criticize in the most healthiest way.
Well, let me tell you. No.
So the first question started off is how can the executive board be more supportive to the B.S.A members or of B.S.A?
Um, do you all have? Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, you're okay. We have this form. This is a Google form for you guys to fill out. If you don't want to say it out loud, you can say it anonymously.
Awesome.
So you take out your phone. I'm gonna give y'all a little second. If you do want to say something, you definitely say it anonymously.
Hmm. Well, is there? Is
We're all about the same. We're all about the same. Been depressed.
Everybody for everyone to sit back down before we start again. Fill out the form. Take this time to fill out the form.
I don't know what all the fuss is about. This amazing game. It's pretty dry and bland. Where's the seasoning? No wonder they got sauce. Or does she seem a little up here? Oh, girl behind you. Is she really? Okay, okay. I was like, oh my gosh. Like at first I was like, okay, well maybe she's advocating. I love that. But then I was like,
No, she is really good. She's AKA.
what's her name?
You know Greek? Greek?
Oh, Greek.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know nothing about that. Illuminati? No, I don't know nothing about
You shouldn't say that in front of
that. I'm so sorry.
Sorry about that. I don't talk about it.
Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Hello.
Hey.
Is the form working for y'all? You did? Okay. If the form is not working, please let me know. Or say, okay.
But I was just going to ask, is there like some kind of process that you all have to kind of step in and kind of be a support to students who are going through what they may consider to be racial discrimination or some kind of thing like that on campus? Like, let's say it's a situation with the teacher and they feel that they need to, have someone from the community sit with them in a meeting or go with them to report something or whatever the case is. Is there something set up like that?
I would definitely, well, we don't, but I would definitely suggest reaching out to them because that's why we took the time to introduce ourselves so you guys actually see our faces. Don't ever be afraid to stop us while we're walking on campus. You had an incident happen, you can reach out to us through our emails and or on Instagram. and we will direct you to someone who is in a good position as a faculty or staff member on campus that can possibly help you with the problem that you're experiencing, and most likely sit with you and be an advocate for you in that situation. Um, I know for a fact that I know who I can run to. So giving y'all that Rolodex of people on this campus who are Black faculty, professors, anybody who just works within any of the social action sectors that we have on campus, or any of the offices that are on campus and they're Black and they can be an accessibility to you guys. That's probably something that we should talk about and share with y'all so y'all know who to go to and have conversations like that. Because Dr. Johnson, for example, she's here and she's the head of the counseling center at the university. So that's just one resource, but there are multiple other people who are directors and other positions on campus that we can just probably give y'all a Rolodex for that, so you can know where to go and who to talk to.
And thank you for the food. Oh my gosh.
I was gonna say also, I don't know if you're here for the very first event, like the Black Name students came together with all the staff. There are a whole bunch of staff members who are over here for problems. Like I personally had like certain issues that have happened this year.
Mm-hmm.
That I talked to a trusted like Black adult.
Mm-hmm.
Staff members, like partner who's there, professors there, who pointed the right direction, email, that was behind me. So I think that you definitely always can go to the app and department as well. You can always figure this out. Like they're always.
And you said the what department?
The African department.
Oh, okay, okay. I've been there a couple times.
Yeah. I feel like I would like not doing something would have been like time or that space like you in that space and time. And I know like it was very isolating and like feel in that space and like really alone with you. And I think it's and just like you just know like people
This is kind of going back to back to what we were talking about earlier. So I think I can gather, there's no such issue. Or say like feel comfortable participating in B.S.A. with having more spaces or times which Black students can get together. Yeah.
I think the thing with that too is like I know some of y'all, but like I'm not gonna lie, I did not know that half of you were on the board. So like another big part of that, I feel like is like we don't really know. So it's like we don't know how to come to you about stuff in the way in the first place. I will go there.
Mm-mm.
Just that statement. There's so many bases on that just recently got added to the board. So we are so sorry that you guys have not met them yet. The trust y'all with.
I was gonna say we would like they could do like a special highlight when they be like hired not hired, but I did suggest that we do something like that at our parents' store, where we just highlight a member a day. Or member, or just for y'all to know, because I feel like y'all know the main faces or the people you see all the time on campus outside of being an executive board member. But then there are other people who you don't really know that are now in a new position, and this is a good chance to go for them to become the faces that we be. If does that make sense? Yeah, perfect.
Sapphire.
Yes,
You said you're not from America originally. Where are you from?
I'm Caribbean. I'm Trinidad.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry. Does anybody else
friend spaces, maybe not, might not know each other, but should know each other, or like want to do it together, and that kind of like helps take away that divide of, I don't know, people there, like it's a group. It's like, this is what I need, maybe one day at your meeting, it's like, hey, at this table here, at this school, or this, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think that's what I do, all of that too. Like, say you're, but I do know. I'm sorry, we're just talking about your idea, but what I just said to her is that she thinks it wouldn't be the most like easy thing to do. But I feel like if you more make it into smaller groups, because I feel like there are people who are communication makers and you can, you know, hey, I'm doing this share, you guys want to see how I do this? You can come meet me here and I'll show you how I edit or how I take videos or doing something like that, how you engage. And or you could make group meetings, like smaller group meetings, and have those little conversations with the people that you share majors with. Pretty much, I'm taking a project, and we should take it with, yeah, like, within, I feel like when you have those little group meetings, you will probably be able to talk about, oh, well, you know, I had a black professor, and he was, I'm a history major, and I have not had a black professor yet, you know? So, you know, having, or met someone who was black in the history. Yeah. But, I feel like when I well, Leia, for example, because she was a history major in college, when I was talking to her, it was easier for her to find a community because she was on a predominantly black campus, going to HBCU. But for me, I have to do a lot more seeking out. So when I put in that effort and I create a community, probably the one that is more than meeting up in the B.S.A space, creating a group meeting, all of those things. So you can start that, and then maybe the rest of us will follow. Hopefully. I saw your hand
I feel like y'all should also know, like, you don't need the e-board's permission necessarily to do almost anything that could go a couple ways. But still, like with the B.S.A space, if y'all want to have a game night, you can always hold like an impromptu game night. You can just say in a group meet, which I hope all of y'all get in. Anybody want to play cards? Anybody want to do this? Like whatever. With the majors thing, like you said, you can make separate group meetings. You can ask whatever question you want in the group meet. If you're struggling with something, no, you don't have to put your whole like story in the group meet, of course, but you can go through the group meet, find out who is on the e-board, reach out to them separately. Like that's why we have those things, or DM us on Instagram, because not even all of the e-board is on Instagram. I think like Sapphire, Algeria, and Saya will definitely see it. So you can definitely utilize some of that social media first if you don't see us in person this much, because I know we don't all go to B.S.A all the time. But I would just let y'all know, it don't have to always be like a professional. We still students, so you can just always talk to us.
Are there games in there already? Are there cards?
Cards.
Monopoly?
There's more games for the time.
Yeah.
Do you know what y'all got?
I don't, we have Jacob.
It's more FYI about that is that I know that, you know, you all have reached out. So one of the things that we've been able to do out of the counseling center is to create wellness spaces across the campus. There are several of them. There's an art space in the front of the University Counseling Center when you walk in Woolard. There's a music space on the 5th floor of the library, so there's records, Bluetooth, comfy furnishing, stuff for yoga. There's an affinity space down at the Med campus. There is a space obviously in the S.G.A. I'm working on the commuter lounge now, and then hopefully at some point before the end of the year, I'm gonna connect with the B.S.A on being able to, you know, potentially add some more wellness related materials, items which can include games, which can include art. So that is something that we're committed to doing as well. That can come out of our
What's the executive board?
What's the executive board? Raise your hand if you're a part of the executive board. It's real high.
Oh, everyone who was introduced of the B.S.A. Oh, okay.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. What are some areas where the board has been helpful and or lacking? And are there any suggestions for improving communication, transparency, and responsiveness? Good.
I'll say like when I applied for positions, I didn't know like how much I was gonna bring. So like I know it was like you want more senior people.
He said he didn't
It
know
actually
what.
a lot more people. And that was like when we looked at, like when we talked about freshmen. But like looking at different positions, we would love to have people around like freshmen because eventually when they're going to be able to take over, if you don't have the experience and like knowing how to do it, nothing. So I encourage you never in anything, not just BSA, but like in life, do not let fear be something that stops you from trying because you will ultimately go from that person. You know what I mean?
I encourage people that, yeah, like it was accountable to everyone, and yeah.
I will say that you can get involved in another way, which is through our committees. For Black History Month, I know that Ryan and are working together to create committees, a committee for people to help plan events, making sure that there's more of a y'all have opinion and not just what we want, but what y'all want. And that will be a way for y'all to get involved. Another way you can get service hours through that. You can get us to write like a little small snippet of statement saying that you did this and you're involved in this way through the BSA. Like it's good things for you to get engaged and get involved and see how we do things and what our process looks like.
So if anyone in here wants to be on Black History Month committee, there is something in the group you currently have. Is that application?
No, you can come find me right after it. I'll just put you right on.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not really no. Yeah.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other things to add to this? And I'll repeat the question again. What are some areas that the board has been helpful and relaxing? Are there any suggestions for improving communication, transparency, and responsiveness? I think you guys should.
You do? You do? Yeah.
I think it's underscore BSA. Okay, so we give it a reply. So we do that. Anybody else have anything they would like to say? Okay.
Oh, you could have this chicken at every event, and I'm sure everybody would come.
Okay, so the last question on this slide, what are some resources, or services would, you all like to see that the e-board can provide? I know that, for example, I just explained that, like, sharing a Rolodex of all the Black faculty and staff that is on the campus, that would be really helpful, so you guys know who works where and who you can talk to and or get close with. That's like just a little example of a resource, I think.
I could help with this, but like maybe like this November, a lot of internships come out in November, so we like putting together like some like internships that are for like Black, brown, or just minority communities to send out. You know, and I can actually talk about do that. Well,
I think also like putting together like a list, like of a lot of the views like views and other awards and boards that are in positions where they do like personal society
Like, is that applicable, or is like, are y'all gonna do that? Are y'all gonna try to do that for us?
Can you say that?
Are y'all gonna try to like collab with
Yeah,
them?
because two board members are involved in AFAM, so it should be easy to set up.
Right. And like, are y'all gonna start like planning more stuff like in the future?
This is and I love that you're holding us accountable. You're okay. I this is why we have these or this is why we're having this conversation.
Yeah.
So we're making sure that we're being intentional about everything that we do afterwards. Because if we're not doing it, then everything that we're talking about is null and void, and that's not fair. It's not fair to y'all. It's not fair to us to just have this and then do nothing afterwards. Like this is we're having this conversation so there is improvement in the future, and we're setting up everybody else who comes after us to have a better experience in some way, shape, or form.
Sapphire, outside of, like, I know Leah is the advisor.
Yes.
And I'm just curious, and obviously, like, you know, the two of us are here representing faculty and staff, and I'm just curious about, like, the engagement with other faculty and staff, like, from an active space of, like, a council of elders, and not to say that we're here to run your organization, but to be a source of, I think, more attention and active support. It would be, I mean, if y'all are, I'm just wondering if that has ever been a conversation.
I would say yes and no. Like, I know that Dr. Marks and like Luella and all of the people who work in the CCC, and then Aubrey works in the CSA. Like, I know that they're there for support, and but I can't answer your question private. Yeah, I can't answer it private. But yes, I wouldn't say no. Like, I do believe that there are faculty members who do support like us to mentor. That's not really like advising like Leah does, but they try their best to reach out and ask if we need anything. That's how I knew about the DLC stuff, because Dr. Marks asked me. He emailed me and asked me about it. So yes, it does.
I think we do need to have like a council of elders. If we need that, like if that's the place, I think we do need to have that. I feel like, I mean, this is my first year, like really being active with B.S.A and being on the exec boards. But I feel like maybe this is just how I feel, but they pass B.S.A like down and around like it's like unwanted present from like grad student to grad student, which is not the fault of like the graduate student who like just got having the SLU and being responsible for like helping us when they're still a student. I guess they could just graduate college and not getting their master's program, but like I think that it's a good opportunity for the grad students to be able to have that experience, but I also think they can have some mentorship and guidance too from a council of people as well, so that we're best supporting like they're best supporting us, and then we're also best supporting you. Because it can't be the blind steering the blind. Not saying that's what it is right now, but like if we're not having proper support to say, hey, I need to be doing this, or hey, why are you not having a meeting this month? Or hey, why are you not doing this? Or hey, why are you not saying that? Like then we think that we're doing what is appropriate. But if we don't have that support, then we are like, what the hell? Like, what are we doing? So like I think that would help us and also hold us accountable too. Like if we have multiple people on us.
And I don't know that it's necessary, like I don't, from my, when I was thinking
Right.
about it, it wasn't even so, I mean, if that's what you need, then that's what you need.
I mean,
wasn't
that's what
thinking-
I personally think. Yeah.
And I was thinking in terms of like, well, why are you gonna do this? It's
Right.
more so like, things are about to get very different.
Right.
And I think that it would behoove the organization to be able to have, you know, folks that have lived through certain experiences that can lend some, a different type of support. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm disappointed to hear that you haven't been given that kind of mentorship that comes to support yet. And I'm really disappointed to hear that.
I'm not surprised.
It's surprising to me. A lot of institutions will supply a student organization like this with a faculty advisor. And it sounds like you don't have that.
We not like a season.
You
Her
don't.
like, not
We
the
don't
season.
have that.
She's and then on top of that, she's fairly really new because she just got here from going to Jackson State University and she
For
got
sure, right?
yeah.
Grad student?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about.
Structure.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about a grad student, I'm talking about faculty.
Faculty.
Yeah.
We,
But then you would be handed to as a student. I'm really looking to that.
I would say that I feel like there's no faculty. This is my personal feelings as a B.S.A member. I feel like they don't want to do it. It
You
doesn't.
mean faculty?
Yeah, I feel like they don't want to do it, or they just don't have the best. I guess because of what B.S.A has done in the past, it's like tainted any of their willingness to want to do
So what was done in the past?
anything.
Nothing specific.
Nothing
It's just like-
specific. It's just and it's not. This is not targeted at anyone. This is how I feel about all the Black faculty that I've interacted with, down to the ones that I'm close with. They'll give advice and they'll tell us, this is what we need to do, but it's not really like I want to get involved and I want to actually help you and I want to.
Ditto. Touche.
Yes, more of like
Ditto.
I'm advising you
Co-creation.
to, I'm advising you to do this, but I'm not like walking with you
Showing
to,
you participating.
yeah.
Well, that needs that.
Can you say that one time?
I said that needs to change.
I think another thing is like looking at the other, like, cause we're not the only like cultural group, seeing how they're like, do they have a faculty advisor and their requirement for like them to like some like for the school to give them a faculty advisor, it would make sense that like, or like that, or how they, cause I don't know about y'all, but I see some of the other coaches, and I'm like, now how y'all doing this?
Yes.
Exactly.
And I was, it's so crazy, and I was just saying that's because they have someone who is willing and wanting to do it and wanting to see better for that specific organization. I feel like that's where, because of it's now affecting our future, and because of that, it's like they're not willing to shape the preconceived notion that they came in with. But I'm a step on the end, but
I think it's also like an option to send an email out to like the emotion you have and all the black friends and friends and just ask them. Like, I know like the people y'all interact with like supposedly don't want to get along, but there's other black faculty and staff out there that you don't see that might actually want to help with this. So like, I wouldn't shut down the idea and then like ask everyone. Like even after that, I'm okay. That's what I was
I have this like idea in my head that I'm gonna bounce off after let y'all finish. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, just proposing that y'all want to change and that y'all want it better for the Black students. It's so many Black faculty, like it really is.
You have a
It's
listserv. I have the listserv. I'm happy to share.
It's a lot, and it's more Black faculty that are coming in. Like it's more people that's coming in that want change. That might not even know what B.S.A is. So I
Yeah, and also with that, y'all just be like open to like their ideas and how like they might want a different B.S.A from what B.S.A is now, and be willing to compromise with that. Like even with this, like the ideas that everybody's saying and stuff, like people want change and people want it to be different. So like it should be progress. Like, we should see the next time we meet like this, something should be.
My only suggestion for that is probably just actually having an open dialogue conversation with them. Maybe doing a town hall with the Black faculty and staff, and y'all having that conversation with them, but also as personally reaching out to them and actively trying to see if they want to be more involved as well.
Definitely. I wanted to just second what you said. I think you're about to say something too, but I just wanted to second what you said and kind of expound upon it. I think that we should be looking at other groups and how their essays are working. Maybe that's not the best abbreviation, but how those are working because that is very good. I think that was a very good suggestion because we need to make certain that there's equality and equity. But there was something else. Oh, and I just wanted to affirm the sentiment that you shared. I don't know who's been approached about the B.S.A and this, that, and the third, and I don't know about the lists or anything that people have, but I do want to just second the sentiment that I have gotten from several professors as well at the institution and staff members and things as well at the institution of just this, what you were describing earlier, this kind of glass wall that kind of, at a certain point, which is understandable. We do have to also acknowledge, these are people, who are where we're trying to get in certain capacities. So they don't want to lose all of that, and then we also have to understand that there are, places that one of my professors told me that we have to understand that there are places that you can take people, and that there's only so far that certain people are willing to go, or whatever. So I mean, I personally don't like that philosophy, but I know it's true. So it is what it is.
Good. Oh, what I was gonna say too, like, I'm not gonna lie, like, it is hard to find a faculty, like, it is really hard. It's really hard to find one. And even though it might seem like it is a lot of black faculty here, it's still hard to find a black faculty advisor. And so, with saying that, just another thing is like what I was saying. I know like with advisors I've worked with more recently, I think the big aspect of they might have a different view of what the B.S.A is meant or what they want it to be or what they want for it. I think that's kind of a misconception. I know, for instance, like a couple of my advisors for organizations I'm in, they kind of take a backseat role. They give us advice of what they've done in the past in this role, or what they did when they were in art, like acting as like the president or the vice president, and then also acting as an advisor. But it's not necessarily what they tell us what they want to see, but at the end of the day, it's still our decision. I think that's like the key factor when finding a faculty advisor, which makes it even harder because it's like at the end of the day, this is like student alliance, and so it's about what we want and what we want to see. And yes, we want the support. We want you to support.
I will say as well from what I've been experiencing working with Leia and then also the SIC as a whole is I feel like they downplay a lot of things with her. Like, I don't really know how to explain it other than they just do. Like they're a little bit wishy-washy or they tell her, oh, this is how they're supposed to do this when they know that we can have a reputation for doing it like this. And that is really hard to do when you're having basically white people or people who are not part of the organization or don't identify as black telling her what to do, and then now it's a war because those are her bosses. So it's like,
Which is why it's so important to have, I think, to have a larger connection because that's part of what this is about, right? Is being able to advocate for what you need and not allow there to be inequity in terms of what kinds of funding or what kinds of resources like. And with Leia being new with the position, she's still, not even the position itself, but being new in the institution and not having kind of institutional roots and not necessarily having connections. She's not, maybe, and she's not here to say, I'm just making assumptions, but that could be difficult. And there are other folks here on the campus who may have, more of an influence in a strategic way of being able to address those challenges.
Good. I definitely agree. I'm gonna just say how it is. It's kind of a setup in a sense. I think also having it's not fair to us as the Mexican like to have someone like as that also works in the SICB or faculty advisor because you can't say the wrong things. You can't sometimes you can't fight every battle because this is your life, this is your job, this is your livelihood. It's not fair to have someone like it's kind of like you playing in our face essentially like they know
Student
Student
conduct?
Involvement Center.
Oh, okay. I thought it was
Uh,
student conduct.
no, their Student Involvement Center, their office is located on the third floor of the Bush Student Center. But
Overall
they,
student organization.
yeah, they basically control what we do and how we do it and the money.
And what does their board look like?
They
Because
don't have a board. It's
It's a department.
yeah, it's a department in the school. So
what does that department look like? What's the makeup of that department,
I would
diversity wise? Do you know? Because I bring it up because one of the
Yeah,
Jackie Weber's the director, she's white.
uh-huh.
they're only a person of color in that space.
It's later.
Yeah, I bring it up because
Girl, I don't know if she maybe yeah.
I was just gonna say I bring it.
Amazing.
I was just gonna say I bring it up because I had to speak with the. It used to be called up until I think this semester. It used to be called the Equality or Equity and Inclusion Office. I spoke with them and I had to do this whole research paper and I sent it over to them and everything. Had a meeting with the director about the diversity on the in the office because I was like, if this is the Diversity and Equity Inclusion Office, where's the diversity and equity inclusion? Like what everybody in this office, I looked at the office online and everyone in the office was white. So, I was just like, and then they tried to come back at me. The director was like, well, no, as you know, diversity isn't just race. It also includes marriage and whether or not you've got children and whether or not you're military affiliated. And I'm just like, look, dude, that's not federally protected like that. Like, that's not what we're talking about here. So I think that is a big problem in general because we have these. How can you have a whole office dedicated to that and you're not? So that tells me something about the school and what the school's environment is.
The words and the image is not
At all.
So yeah, that's a different, so that's the office that Lynn is talking about is the office of, now, well, they did just change the name, it's, equal opportunity. It used to be, Office of Institutional Equity, it used to be Office of Institutional Equity and Diversity. And with all the DEI related changes that are happening across the country, they shifted the name back.
Mm-hmm.
So different, a little bit different than like our diversity and innovative community engagement office. So I just wanted to differentiate between the two of those, so they're a little bit different, but similar to your point.
Mm-hmm.
That is something that I brought up in the meeting with them as well.
Mm.
You may not be able to do much about that, though. You mean that this group may not be able to change the structure of that.
No. I just brought it up so that we could have some, basically some context for why this might be happening with this group, why we might be running into some of these issues with the SIC and all that kind of stuff. Because it seems that there's an aura.
What this can do, the important record. I want to know, as somebody who's running on this campus, do other student groups like this have faculty representation?
Yeah, they usually do. Most of them do. Like I know, for instance, like S.L.U.
I know the CCJ Club even does.
The S.L.U.
It's not like this, though.
Dr. Victoria Martin.
I think Oasis. It's not right.
But she's not a faculty,
She's not.
so there's more staff than faculty advisors.
They change.
Oh, okay. Like you mean like?
So faculty is professors, staff like non-staff.
It used to be, so the requirement through SGA, I'm the old SGA president, so like, it used to be to have some faculty, but faculty were showing a lack of interest, or wanting to start, people want to charter student or start them, and you have to have a faculty person to start it, so they took the faculty requirement off, and so they could be a faculty or a staff member, so whoever is willing to do something help. So some of them may have faculty. I would say that most of the cultural identity groups like B.S.A, A.S.A, Oasis, they have a staff person, and maybe there's faculty who help, but the main person is probably a staff member.
But I isn't for AFAM who is the because I want to say
But that's not, right, yeah, that's not a student organization, that's a department.
No.
So it's a little.
Well, but society is student hill, society FM.
Oh, yeah.
But it's still under the department, like the studies department, so it's not automatically be more restriction.
Oh, okay. I was wondering before I spit something out, but we can still keep talking. I just wanted to give people a chance if you have to go, you can. But I did want to touch on Tuesday night. I will start off by saying that I honestly went to bed when I realized what was happening because I didn't really know how to handle those emotions of the things that are going to change or can potentially more than 50% change within the country that we live in right now. Um, the next day, I woke up and I felt sadness, and I didn't even feel my own sadness. I felt the sadness of everyone who was wanting something different.
Yeah, that's what I was feeling because I personally was like,
Yeah, I know. And when Asaya sent that message in her and Africa, and when I also sent a personal message to my board, and then Asaya sent a message to her and Africa. I was like, I was feeling, I felt a little bit calmer because I know that I wasn't the only one who was feeling the same way and speaking it out loud. Um, but we can start off that conversation now, if not if, but whenever you guys feel ready to talk about how you're feeling and what we can do as the B.S.A. to support you during this time, as there is a pivotal and historical change happening right now. Go ahead.
This is gonna sound kind of crazy to talk about, but I was traveling with them today, and in complete honesty, if coming was to win, I was so scared to travel. I was so scared because I was like, these people don't know how to handle their emotions, and to see
last
in
time
the
you lost.
interaction when something's happening. So I was so
Yeah,
scared.
this is
And I
honestly the
woke up
best
the next
result.
morning, you know, like I was so sad about the results of the election. I was kind of relieved that I could feel less anxious when I travel because I'm like, crazy people aren't going to do crazy things.
Ain't that something?
And
Good.
Um, on like Tuesday night, I was like watching the election party with like a group of friends, and we like stayed up to like 2 in the morning, like watching. And I was kind of like had like hope that Kamala was gonna like win. Like I was trying to like give myself that false hope and shit. But I'm kind of just like upset because I was in a room full of like predominantly like white people. I was the only like, black person in the room, and um, I don't know. I was like terrified because one, my roommate, he was a person who voted for Trump, and I was low key like not gonna lie, like scared to go back to my room because, to be honest, like I interact with the person, like he's cool, he's chill, but I don't know him at the end of the day. Like I have like surface level conversations with him, and I was just like telling them to the people in like the room, I was like, dang, like I don't know how he's gonna respond, which way or where it's gonna go. And then like the people kind of like in the room, they played on my fear a little bit. Um, once Pennsylvania swinged or whatever towards red, they were like they kind of like looked at me and said, "You're done." In a way.
This is what.
They didn't. They didn't say that specifically, but I'm trying to say like they started like making jokes like he's gonna deport your ass. They were like saying, because I was trying to be honest and I have like a conversation with them, and I was trying to like create a space where I was just like, guys, like I'm trying to be vulnerable right now, and like honestly, because like I said, I don't know my roommate, I don't know how what he's on, like I know like they talk to my roommate more about the political side because he's my roommate. I live with him at the end of the day. I'm not going to talk to you about politics. I don't want to know your political view. I don't give a fuck. I know you voted for Trump, and that means it's vote for racism for me. So I'm not talking to you about that. So they've had more conversations about him, and they've said like his father is like heavily conservative. Like he does not fuck with black people. So I'm like telling them like I don't know what's going to happen if I go back in my room. is a father gonna come in the room and beat me up? Like, I'm like telling them that shit honestly. And I know like it's like hard, like that's not gonna happen, like it's like unrealistic, but still, I'm like I was trying to be vulnerable in the moment. And I'm kind of pissed that they played on that fear and that they felt comfortable enough to be like, oh, they're gonna report your ass to the combos and like say that volatile hate.
Were these students?
They were students, yeah.
Mm.
Can I ask you a question? Um, well, first, where do you live?
I'm gonna,
Um, that is something that you can say. If you feel comfortable to do so.
I've talked to about it because we have like, I'm in a learning community, so we have LSOC leaders. And the thing I'm just kind of pissed about overall is that they felt comfortable enough saying this shit to me.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Of course they did.
We have classes about this. We have Cure Personalis. We have Ignite seminars.
What are you saying?
To like social change movements. And it's like the way we discuss race in those classes isn't appropriate. Like they're always like, oh, go to this if you identify with, like, you know those little papers with race, gender, disability.
Oh, yeah.
And people are supposed to walk over it. That shit is like not helpful at all. Because we should be having conversations about like what does racism look like? This racism isn't always blatant because sure, you guys can vote for Kamala and do all this and be like, oh, I'm not racist. But at the end of the day, like the fact that you felt comfortable looking at me in my eyes to say that Trump is going to deport my ass, well, I'm just trying to like still take in the shock of the election. So
They didn't vote for Kamala.
I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm really sorry. Because that could have been a very uncomfortable experience. And then, like, having your safety be up in the air is not a very comfortable feeling for anyone. So I'm really sorry that happened to you. And if there is any way that the B.S.A. or exec board members or anyone that's in this room and you feel like you want to have a more in-depth conversation with that, then please feel free to reach out to one of us or stop us before we leave tonight. But I am really sorry that happened to you.
And see, this is what I was referring to earlier when I was saying that, suggesting that maybe there be some kind of way that the B.S.A. might be able to act in situations like that. So let's say that this person does report this. You know, maybe someone could go with this person to the you know, whatever reporting office it is or whatever the situation is, you know, and report the situation, be there as support or whatever the case is. Maybe there could be some kind of way that it's worked into the B.S.A. that this is a part of what the mission is of the B.S.A. We're going to be here for you in situations like this or something like that.
When stuff like that happens, it's usually this virus to university, like don't let that shit pass. You know,
But like we understand, like when that stuff happens, you lose that trust for your university, and you can always come to us, and we can speak for y'all. Like we can advocate for y'all. I always talk to the people in African American Studies Department because it's more adults in there that know what to say to y'all. On the e-board, we ain't qualified like therapists or anything. We can say what we need to say to you in the moment, but for the most part, we're probably going to direct you to somebody who can help you out a little more than we can.
I think like I'm on the Learning Community Association board, and the Learning Community ended their population leadership for social change. So that's kind of crazy that they were.
See, but this is what I be saying.
So, and what's even crazier is that that's a space where he felt comfortable and they violated. So that in itself is like a whole thing that he now has to process those feelings, and I feel that to have somebody make you feel unsafe in a space where you are already set up in is insane work.
And see, that's what I be saying. Like when I have said before, when I said before that, what do you call it? We go to these classes, and a lot of these people go to these classes, and they don't learn anything, or they learn how to reinforce the same oppression that they're already enacting. because they learn the different ways of how these things happen and how to understand these things. And then it's like you go out and you do the same thing. So what did you really learn in this class? And it's just crazy. There was something else, some other way that I was going to work that, but I'll leave it at that. It's just crazy.
But I just feel like disappointed and angry after I saw like every single state turn red. It's because like we saw what he was able to do or did do the first time that he got in office, and we knew the severity. A lot of people knew the severity, especially black people knew the severity of what was going to happen if he was to do the second term with Agenda 47 or Project 2025. People knew which one he would call it. And it was just disappointing seeing a 1 in 4 black man in Georgia, which is a crucial swing state, vote for that and vote for him knowing that he's a racist, pedophile, and all these other deplorable things that he's allowed to be because he's a white man who's a billionaire. And he's never going to be met with the same type of criminality or never going to be labeled a criminal like Trayvon Martin or Samir Rice or Michael Brown or all of these other unarmed black men who were killed at the hands of the state. But Donald Trump, on the other hand, was prosecuted by this same state by a jury of his peers, held civilly liable by a jury of his peers,
For rape.
but isn't held to the same standard. So that's where my whole contention comes in. But Kamala has to be even though she was overqualified, she has to be overqualified. But he brought nothing to the table.
But he couldn't act like Donald Trump. Like if she said half of what Donald Trump said.
Oh no.
Yeah, like no. He brought nothing to the table and was just able to win off of hate and I don't like those people. I know you don't like those people. I'm going to reinforce your ideologies. I'm going to implement those things successfully.
I think it was really crucial, like in that time. Like I said earlier, to have like a community of black individuals to come together and conversate and talk about these situations. Because for me, I feel like very isolated in that moment. Because I'm not from St. Louis, so being in this environment, especially as people that why I didn't feel safe, considering that I'm not from here, and I didn't have a community to turn to besides my sister, and that's all I had. I feel like we didn't have an outlet to really talk about these issues and really like have a space to communicate our emotions in that time. I did feel a lot isolated in that moment because I didn't have that community during that time. And it did like my life.
I'm not from here either, and my bachelor's here, so already knowing like going out. I'm from Georgia, so like I already know like there's certain parts of Georgia you just do not go to because there's certain parts where you're not safe and you are not comfortable to be there. So being away from that because I'm from Atlanta, so everything's running at Atlanta. That's how everybody operates there. You go outside of the county, you go one county out in a different direction, it's completely red.
Literally.
It goes red and red and red and red. So everybody was actually having like
That's Missouri.
Everybody in Atlanta, I went to some of the rallies that she had there too. The line was outside the stadium, like around the block. I've never seen one in my life. And it was just like, how's it red?
I think she ran one of the most beautiful campaigns. Her campaign was
Kamala?
Yeah, like I was very in tune to a lot of the things that she was saying. But now, I mean, I agree with everything that she was saying, but I was talking to one of my friends actually, and I said it was a couple days prior to the election, and I remember saying out loud, it was starting to well up for some weird reason that it would be so cool to just have she's a black woman in office. Like just the idea of saying that, like Madam President, and she's a black woman. It was something that I was really excited for. It was like I really thought she had it. I did, but it was just disappointing that they just did not want to see somebody win so badly because she was a black woman.
I think that is definitely what led this. But I will be honest, as a person who did not vote for her, and admit that it is not the only thing that, read this. Oh, I'm sorry. That's not the only reason that people were opposed to her, unfortunately. at the end of the day, I think that this is a conversation that we really need to have, and that is there's a lot of different ways that we can go with this conversation, but I think that the some of the bigger things are one, reparations, and two, the genocide. Those are some of the biggest things, and I feel like if she would have gone on board with supporting that, then she would have had a better situation and a better campaign. And I think that one of the things that needs to be pointed out is that we are looking at a potential second president who would have been yet another person who's not an American descendant of enslaved people or a foundational Black American, American descendant of enslaved people, or a foundational Black American, which they don't have to be. Foundational Black American or American descendant of enslaved people.
She's not. That's what you were saying.
In America, American descendant of enslaved people. So, because she was not born in America, she was born in Jamaica. So, at the end of the day, I think that that is a very big agenda that I think is being pushed. I think we do need to recognize that there is this kind of propping up of the perfect model minority Black immigrant as the, the best Black that you can be, basically.
Yeah, she's from
There's a lot of pain right here right now. I think it would be really helpful if some of the leaving right now is because of an effort to hold space for pain. It'd be really good if we could just forgive me because I know I'm just showing up today. You want to just if we could just hear from the people who are hurting right now and just hold this space for each other. I think there's lots to discuss. I mean, if that's what you're planning on doing, because I think I heard that. I think I heard that that's what you're planning on doing, to give students some space to speak.
Yes.
And hold each other's pain right now. There's plenty of opportunity to analyze what happened.
Was that aimed at me? In my question or something? Did I step out?
You don't need to hold on to what I just said. I think it was a suggestion that we actually do that. It wasn't. I mean, if you want to, if you
no, I'm just wondering if it was directed at the fact that I said what I said.
It would be just good if we just sit down as is.
Okay, so it seems that it was directed at me, and I actually will admit that I do feel a little bit uncomfortable, not just because of that, but also because of the way that everybody left as soon as I said what I said. So, excuse me, I'm speaking right now. I really would like to be able to finish what I'm saying. And every time I speak, I'm being talked over.
We're not. That is not going to happen.
What's not going to happen?
Any type of nothing. This is just a conversation that we're having.
I don't appreciate the way that you're speaking with me right now.
I'm talking to.
No, you're looking at me. You're talking to me.
I know I'm talking to someone. I direct my.
This is the kind of space that. So, how did we get here? Okay.
I just want to say, for the space, I think.
Wow.
I think what he was saying is that people.
No, I heard what he said.
Coming from the vice president, we do not want anybody in here to feel uncomfortable. Everybody has the right to
I feel very uncomfortable. I'm gonna leave.
Well, I hope you have a good thanks for coming. It's just a sensitive time.
And nobody should really be expressing who they did it, or thinking about both. All we are doing is how we feel after this section. I'm sorry that you did feel uncomfortable. I'm just tired. Next time, please don't take that. I was calming the both of you down because it looked like we were both going to have a back and forth. And I was looking at you.
He's a professor. The way that he spoke to me and about me was very rude. No,
I understand.
I just want to say this right now, and I'm going to leave.
Say your piece.
Thank you. Thank you. I felt that was very rude. I felt that what happened before was very rude, and I felt that it could have been facilitated better. This is the type of stuff that leads to the environment that we're in right now.
No, I agree.
Because I have a different opinion, and I just lost all of the support of my community. And people walked out of the room and left me in there, and then he facilitated that by backing it up and basically telling me to quiet down. I don't appreciate that. And I don't appreciate being talked to the way that you talk to me, Sapphire. Because when you started,
Just let her finish.
the way you looked at me and the way that you were talking to me, it was, we're not going to do that right now. And that's too much. I don't think that that was appropriate. I don't think that that was a way to welcome a Black student into the B.S.A. the first time that I came here.
That's real.
And I just expressed how I went through a sundown town situation on campus where people told me that I didn't belong here, I'm in the wrong neighborhood. I'm over here studying to be an attorney, to fight for the Black community, to fight for reparations. That's my main goal. But a whole slew of Black people just walked out the room when I brought up that I didn't vote for Kamala. And by the way, if we add up all the people who didn't vote for Kamala, or excuse me, all the people who didn't vote for Kamala and didn't vote for Trump, that still wouldn't have gotten her across the finish line. Mm-hmm. So that needs to be acknowledged. And I didn't vote for Trump either.
Say this piece. I agree with you. I feel like the way that it was handled when you did say your piece, that was handled super inappropriate. And I felt some type of way because at the end of the day, B.S.A. is supposed to be able to be inclusive to all types of Black people, whatever that looks like. Democratic, Republican, Libertarian, whatever you want to be. And I apologize. One second. Just as a B.S.A. member, as a past B.S.A. board member, I apologize because I feel like that's not okay. But also, I feel like the space should have been opened up and
definitely.
Because just to play on your part, just to go on your part, I feel like maybe we should never express who we voted for. Maybe you could have worded that differently. But I still listen to what you had to say because I feel like you said, your words are valid, and I want you to know that you are valid here. I'm sorry that you did not have a good experience here because that's not what the B.S.A. is, and that's not what being Black at S.L.U here. Being black at this university is. We should be together. I don't really have all my words together.
That's okay.
I know we have all my words together.
You gave me enough energy to get my words together real quick.
No, Lynn, come back.
Can I just say 2 words? I think you're saying what I was going to come back in and say. I just wanted to address everybody in the room. Thank you if you stayed and if you actually gave me space to say what I needed to say. But I just wanted to repeat one thing that I said out there, and that is that at the B.S.A., it is very disappointing the first time that I come here to sit here and talk about sundown town-esque situations on campus, similar to what was brought up by the other student who talked about their experience in their dorm. To go through those kinds of things at this university, to sit here with anxiety that I had in the beginning when I first started talking about a lot of those situations, I'm sure some people noticed that, to sit here and express all of that to you all and then have half the room just leave me in the dust because I expressed that I didn't vote for Trump or Kamala, that's messed up. And then to have a teacher who just introduced themselves. I was just saving your information, Professor Williams. I was just about, and you might be related to my family because I am related to some Williams. You know, Dr. Sharon Williams is one of them with the West End Center and the Demetrius Johnson Foundation. But we're from here, St. Louis, Ferguson, like my last name. So, I really did not appreciate the way that you just addressed me. At first, you didn't directly address me, but I know that you were referring to it was triggered by what I said. And then when I approached you about it, the way that you responded to me afterward was completely inappropriate. I'm going to leave. I'm not coming back. Yes.
From the B.S.A. as a whole, me being the vice president, I want to let you know that at a time right now, I understand your frustration. I just felt like leaving the room the way that the people did was very inappropriate. But I also feel like the way things are worded, we just talked about that, the way things are vocalized, it's a big part of things. So I'm not sure if you said that you didn't vote for Trump or Kamala, but maybe if that was worded differently.
That shouldn't matter though.
It shouldn't. You're absolutely correct. It shouldn't matter. But coming from the B.S.A., we do apologize for how everybody left the room. But it's also a very hard time for everybody that's a person of color right now.
That's wonderful. That's why we should be here for each other.
Exactly. That's why we apologize. I'm sorry this is your first experience.
Definitely. And I thank you so much for that last bit before, because I was just about to leave. But I thank you for telling me that, because now I really am not coming back. And I really do appreciate you all, but I'm really not going to, because even that logic lets me know that something's off here, because thinking that you need to know who I voted for me to be a part of the B.S.A, that's crazy. I can't even say, I could be on a soapbox all day. I will be reporting this. It's not okay. I really wish you were. You were there the whole time until the moment that people wanted to act with me. No. I'm not bringing you. I'm just like, I wish you were. Because you seem like the perfect type of person to have been there to facilitate that.
But Lynn, don't let that
deter me.
Don't let that discourage you from wanting to be in black spaces. That's all I have.
Oh no, it wouldn't. It never will. It never will. Just not in this black space.
I also wanted to let you know that I wasn't trying to direct it in a way that I guess I should have told you because I wanted to talk to you. That's exactly what I told you. That's not okay. What happened was okay because I don't know if you saw my face as you were talking.
I can't see more than 3 feet.
Oh, but
glasses.
No, you're okay. But as I saw people getting up, I could only imagine how you could have felt in that moment of people who look like you that don't agree with you. I really do understand that. And I am so sorry that if you felt like I wasn't attacking, I was trying to de-escalate.
I get it.
Because if
I do believe that.
Because if you were gonna get started, he was gonna get it. I'm looking at you because I want you to be. You see how we're having this conversation right here. Nobody else is.
I couldn't see you.
No, it's okay.
If I would have seen you, I would have felt it. I would have felt
this conversation right here, and you understand that no, that is not what that was. That was de-escalation on my. This is my. Unfortunately, I am the face of this organization, being that president. So I'm really sorry that you feel like that, and that has just happened to you live in action. And I really hope that it doesn't discourage you.
But I thank you so much, though, for saying that, because I did need to hear that part, because I do believe what you're saying. But it just really kind of comes full circle. I was going to speak with you and give you my information, but I don't really want to at this point. I might come back and give me a minute. But
I just came out to see. I didn't personally understand why everybody got up. That's why I came out here to see.
I was so confused.
And then I was like,
but it kind of comes full circle to what I introduced with when I said that people sense that there's a disconnect in the community because I'm a Black trans woman. So people see a disconnect, so they think that they can do certain things to me. Other communities, non-Black people, and other communities, because they feel that I'm not going to have the support. And this just proved that I don't. Even if individuals support me, I don't have the full support of the community, and it shows. So I'm gonna go home on that. My stomach's killing me. Too much stress.
I want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing. Even before the relationship, I'm like, oh, she gave everything. She funny, everything. I just loved your energy. You had great energy. And even when it went down, I looked at my friend. I said, "Have you flushed?" I said, "Control yourself." Because it's too much. Like I'm pretty much like in politics, so I'm like, you cannot let this have as much control over you. It's not fair. So I'm heartbroken that it's feeling like this because you had the best fucking energy I could fucking bring. You really did. And I'm trying to.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I thought you were about to say.
I was like,
what did
she say? I heard information.
And for your Eyes for the Future, my Instagram is my name with a couple X's at the end. It's easy to find.
Does it smell like a gym?
Yes, exactly like it with 2 P's. And if you want to reach out and us have a conversation, that's fine. Everything that you were talking about prior to what happened was something for me that I'm now going to run back through my board. Don't think that anything that you've said today was not valid. It sure does. Your suggestions, the thing that you were saying, the comments that you made were, as I just heard you say, you sound smart and you're very, very articulate. Exactly. I'm so sorry that you feel chastised. I'm really, really sorry. And I hope that you come to another event because you have a friend.
You got 2 friends.
You got 2.
Let's see. There's your email?
It's Lynn, L-I-N. Dot Ferguson.
What email you back?
GUSON, of course. At S.L.U. Get my stomach together. Stressed out, yeah.
So you meditate, what do you do to keep peace on?
Exactly what I'm about to do.
You gotta email me back.
Lynn, is could see you. You know, we talked to, you know, a while ago.
We did. I couldn't see you until just now.
That's okay.
I work nights.
Like what the like what? What do you
This is why the environment is the way that it is. Post or pre-alert. So we act like this opinions, and we don't like difference. And we don't. Baby, I got